First and foremost, a huge thanks and shout out to the amazing folks over at Community Outlet Center in Spencer, Indiana for allowing me to take a detailed, in-depth look at and reminisce at this really nice Survivor. Back in 1999, I was in high school and taking driver's ed courses at the school. Our cars that we used were 2000 Ford Focuses painted in light sapphire blue with gray cloth interiors. It's amazing I even remember that. They were LX trims with automatic transmissions, but not much else in the way of equipment levels, so it's fitting that I find this nice 2001 Ford Focus and love the opportunity to relive this car and digitally preserve it for years to come, which, incidentally, is the main motive of this channel. Utilizing Ford's new Edge design, the Focus looked unlike anything else Ford had on the road. If you look back at this era, all other Ford vehicles are rounded and almost oblique. The Focus showed us sharp creases and edges along with steep angles and upright body lines, almost as if the GT90 concept car from 1995 inspired some of the shapes. Across the globe, the Focus was available in several trim levels, even including an ST and an RS model in Europe, and somehow I missed that. We had the SVT Focus here in the States, and of course special edition models across the model years were highlights as well. Here we had the basics, the base level LX, mid-range SE, ZX3 hatchback, and the line-topping ZTS. ABS and advanced track full-speed traction control were both optional back then, as were side impact airbags. Our review subject has, well, none of these. It doesn't even have power equipment group. It does, however, have the optional air conditioning, which still works fantastic, so there's that at least. In any event, our low-mile, nice surviving example was built at Wayne Stamping Assembly in Wayne, Michigan in August of 2001. Hey everyone, here is another installment of our full in-depth review series, and I've been wanting to do a first generation Ford Focus for quite some time, and they are very hard to find. This definitely falls into the category of why did this car survive, from my one of my favorite Instagram channels, Cool Craigslist Cars. He does that series every once in a while. And it also really reinstates the fact of the importance of this channel's motive of digitally preserving a car for future generations to see and enjoy and appreciate. So what do we have today? Well, what we have is a 2001 Ford Focus. Now, they were available in several different trim levels. This one is the base level LX. You would usually associate an LX with a more luxury, but this was actually the more base offering. If I can find pricing information, I'll put full pricing on screen and full options list in the description box below. What we have today is the Ford Focus LX in CD Silver Metallic, and it does feature the graphite cloth interior. Today's review is going to be a full in-depth review. We're going to cover everything from the exterior to the interior, powertrain, fuel economy, and everything else in between. Of course, the Focus is front-wheel drive, while globally, several engine choices were available. However, here in the States, we had our choice of two engines, both being 2-liter 4-cylinders. We had the base level SPI single cam and the Z-Tech twin cam engines. In our LX, power comes from the base level 2-liter split port single overhead cam 8-valve inline 4-cylinder engine. This all aluminum engine is naturally aspirated with electronic multi-port fuel injection and a 9.2-to-1 compression ratio. This engine creates 110 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 125 pound-feet of torque at 3,750 RPM. While it doesn't sound like a lot, the Focus has a curb weight of 2,564 pounds and is good for 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 10.7 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour comes in at a brisk 33.6 seconds, with the quarter mile hitting at 18 seconds flat at 80 miles per hour. The top speed is redline limited to 110 miles per hour. The Focus came equipped with a 13.2 US gallon fuel capacity, and it consumes 3.6 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of 370 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 25 miles per gallon in the city, 32 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined average of 25 miles per gallon. While the 4-speed automatic, as stated before, could be had for $815, Our car does not have that and comes with the standard 5-speed manual transmission and features a 3.82 to 1 final drive ratio. Alright, now like I do in all my videos, I'm going to go over the rear in detail, but here's just a really quick look. Looks a little bit like a Jaguar X-Type from around that same era. I'll state in the video in the future, but I like the wagon and the hatchback a little bit better in the design. Alrighty, so the rear of the Focus, I'm going to be the first to say I honestly think that the wagon and the hatchback look better. They're a much more chiseled look to the car. The sedan looks a little bit more conservative in its styling. However, it still does have that new edge design that Ford had. Real sharp chisel points, especially this little character line right here, and these really sharp wheel creases here. They float really nicely into the bumper, which go right up into the tail lights. Just a really nice edgy look, all red. Got your turn indicators, brake lights, all that kind of stuff, reverse lamps. Really cool typeface for the Focus badge. And about that time, Ford started putting the Ford logo in the center. Of course, you also have your third mounted brake light. No spoiler or anything like that. Just a single outlet exhaust down below. So just a really conservative, contemporary looking sedan. I think it actually still looks good to this day. One design element I do like also is how the top of the taillight goes into this character line above the trunk lid. You can kind of follow it all the way down up into this reverse lamp, and it also continues its character line, framing the outline of the license plate frame and finishing off over here. Alright, now as we walk along the profile, even though the car looks larger, it is a small car. I will have the full exterior dimensions on screen, as you can see. But it is actually very roomy inside. It's very comfortable. The seats are high sitting, and they're very well-wearing cloth, as you'll see. Steering on this car is hydraulic power-assisted rack and pinion with 3 turns lock-to-lock, and a 35.7-foot turning radius. And it features a 16 to 1 steering ratio. Wheels on this car are the 14 by 5.5 inch black painted steel wheels with silver bolt-on style wheel covers, and are shot in 185/65 R14 Falcon Sincera SN250 all-season tires. Brakes are hydraulic vacuum assisted front disc rear drums with 10.2 inch vented rotors up front and 8 inch drums in the rear. While ABS was optional, our car is not equipped with as such, nor does it have the available advanced traction control system. Brakes can halt the Focus from 70 miles per hour to 0 in about 185 feet. Alright, now as we go along the front, just like I do in the rear, we're going to cover the front in more detail. But I love the front end styling. It reminds me a lot of the European Ford Puma. Has a very, what Ford called the new edge design back then. Very sharp chiseled angles. Looks really, really good. Now up front is where the Focus was the most identifiable and probably the most aggressively styled. It didn't look like any Ford of North America product, even though it was made in America. This car actually looked more like it came right out of Europe, probably because of the Ford Puma. We do have the fixed in place black mirrors. Those wheel arches continue up from that door trim all the way up into the bumper, and the headlamps up here, just as aggressively styled. Very long horizontal lines going all the way, or vertical lines going all the way up into the fenders and the hood. They once were clear halogen lens headlamps. Then they have chrome bezels, but now they've faded over. But halogen, high beam, low beams, and you have these little grill mounted turn indicators on the inset. You also have side marker lights as well. Down below you would have had a pair of fog lamps had you been opted with it, but this car doesn't have a whole lot of options on it. And you do have this small grille up here, has the Ford logo, kind of reminiscent of the Escort ZX2, and you have a larger lower intake down below. Alright, before we get inside, let's take a look at what you get as far as key and key fobs. You don't get a key fob. This car doesn't have any power accessories at all. It is all manual windows, manual locks, manual mirrors even. So you just get Ford's double-bladed key. If you want to lock the vehicle, just simply stick the lock or the key in the lock, turn it towards the rear of the car, That locks the car. To unlock it, simply rotate it towards the front of the car. That'll unlock the car. Let's go ahead and check out the inside. As you'll see, for a 23-year-old car, the interior of this car has held up so well over time. Very nice materials, looks really good. Take a quick look at the door panels. Not much to see here. All one color, but it's all soft touch materials, as you'll see. All this is like a really nice soft touch vinyl, a little bit more of a padded vinyl here. Armrest, door pulls. Here's your door lock, that's your manual lock there. Door pulls. You'd have your power accessories up here on the other models. Power mirror control right here. Door speaker. Your manual window controls here. As you can see, it rolls down the window. This is not a thing you see much anymore these days. And actually the movement is very nice and smooth. You have this nice door pull, but it's all, even down here, all soft touch vinyl. Really nice. Nice large door mounted map pockets here. Taking a look at the driver's side instrument panel real quick. This is your electronic trunk release. That is a nice feature to have. Positional air vents. This vehicle does have air conditioning. You also have your headlamp control, instrument panel brightness and dim. And here is your fuse relay access. This right here is your hood release. And very rare in these videos, you'll see 3 pedals in the footwell indicating our manual transmission. Let's go over some seat controls. Very interesting. So here we have your standard forward and aft control. Just lift that up and you move your body weight to go forward and aft. This little pencil sharpener looking thing or whatever, fishing reel, actually will higher or raise and lower your seat cushion. So going towards the right of the car, just like this, raises the seat cushion, and going towards the left lowers it, as you'll see here in the video. Pretty neat. That's a very nice feature there. And this right here is your seat back adjust. And taking a quick look at these seats. The seats are in very nice shape. They're very nice and comfortable and supportive. They have a very nice grippy soft cloth with height adjustable head restraints. It is like a graphite color. And you have this really interesting color pattern on the inside, red and blue with some splotches of silver. But overall, just a really nice seating. All right, now that we're inside, we're going to pan through the interior, show more details. I do have the air conditioner on because it is kind of warm today, and very nicely the air conditioner still works. You'll note the lack of steering wheel controls because this car does not even have cruise control. Just the airbag cover, the blue Ford logo, all neoprene, but it looks like leather, but it's all just neoprene or whatever vinyl steering. Your turn signal stalks here on the left hand side, and of course your high beam and flash to pass, and over here you have your wiper washer controls. Taking a look at the gauge package or the gauge cluster, not very much, not a lot of information to show here because it is a base level. You do have assorted warning lights, you have your coolant temperature gauge, your speedometer, and your fuel level here, and more warning lights over here. This is your digital odometer, and of course that stupid belt minder. At the time of this recording, this vehicle has 48,616 miles on it. All right, let's move over the top of the dash. The dash has that same material that the, hold on just a second. All right, moving over the top of the dash. The dash has the same material as the door panel, so it's kind of a soft touch material, but you'll note that there's no cracks, splits, warps, or anything like that. Even the airbag cover is still in really nice shape. Moving over there, you'll see on the passenger side, you do have a manual mirror adjuster. And of course, all of your assorted air vents. Little storage tray up here. And then here you have a pull-out ashtray and a 12-volt power point or a cigar lighter. I don't believe this car has ever been smoked in. It's actually, it smells really clean in here. There's your hazard switch here. AM/FM cassette player. Does have a digital readout with the station and the time and all that kind of stuff. You also have 6 memory presets. Okay, one thing I did not know about the radio is this little switch here. And notice how these 2, 3, 4, and 5 buttons have a border around them. I didn't know this. By flipping this, you notice the display went out, and you can actually, it's not easy to do, but you can pull that keypad out. Notice this, and it basically deactivates the radio. I guess radio theft was a big thing back then, and so Ford, just like the detachable faceplates of then, Ford integrated anti-theft measures into their radios just by removing the keypads. That's the belt minder. Now by putting this back in, when it locks in place, you'll notice the display comes back and your radio is ready to be used. That is a really cool feature. Down here you have your air conditioner controls, so temperature is over here. Then of course you have your panel distribution. One nice thing is you have intermittent areas where you can kind of blend it as little or as much as you want. Really nice. And then of course over here is your fan speed control, AC control, recirculate for max AC, and your rear window defroster. Over here, nice large glove box. Down here, small little storage nook, 2 cup holders, of course your manual shift lever. No armrest or anything like that in the middle, just a little cutout here. You have a proper handbrake though, which is really nice. Little pin holder, and another cup holder here for the rear seat passenger, and a little storage nook as well. Could possibly also double as a cup holder. Overall, I feel like the interior of this 24-year-old Focus has held up very well over time, especially for a car that was considered an entry-level, almost like a throwaway car. But in this example, it's very, very nice. Overhead, we just have a manually dimming rearview mirror. We do have overhead lights, but not individual map lights. We do also have sun visors. This one does not have the little retainer, but they do swing down. They're vinyl covered, and of course they swing out, but they do not slide, so there's no nothing to slide on. High adjustable seat belts. And of course, overhead assist handles for all passengers, even the driver. All right, let's take a look at the rear seat now. Opening up the rear door reveals seating for 3 across back here. It is a 60-40 split folding seat, and we're going to go over how to fold that seat here in just a moment. And of course, the rear door panels back here, they are still soft touch back here as well, which is really nice. There is no map storage pockets or anything like that, but you do have your door pulls, your manual lock switch here, and of course your manual window winders. Taking just a really quick look at the rear seat. The rear seat, as stated before, does seat 3 across in a 60-40 split folding fashion. You also have your upper tether and anchors for your child seats, a nice big parcel shelf, 3-point belts for all rear seat passengers, but no headrests. And you'll see the back seats have also worn very well over time. Unfortunately, you will note the absence of seat back map pockets, but you'll also see how they're cut out. That is to provide additional leg and knee room, and it does actually work. So a car this small actually has a pretty generous amount of rear seat room. All right, so you want to fold the seats. That's pretty easy to do. First thing you need to do is just lift the seat bottom cushion. I did not know this did this. I don't think the dealership did either, because when you see underneath after they detailed it, when you lift this up, you'll note that there's still stuff underneath here. Anyway, so then you're gonna have to do this method. We're gonna pop the trunk. All right, and in the trunk, you'll notice these pull tabs here. This will unlatch the left seat, and you can just come in here and just push it down. Or you can pop this side, and you can push that one down as well. I'll try this one again. And there you have it. There is our rear seats folded. Provides additional trunk storage room. Sad thing is that in order to fold the seats, 60-40 split folding fashion, you have to fold the entire seat bottom cushion. So even if you could only need to fold the small section here, it doesn't matter. That all has to be folded up. It's one piece. So that is kind of limiting. But it's still nice. In this price point, you have a split folding seat. All right, to close them, it's easy. You just lift up on the seat backs. They will latch back into place, just like so. And then you're gonna reverse the order. Basically, you're gonna drop the seat bottom cushion. Alright, there are two ways to open the trunk. I've already showed you one way with the seat folding, and that is just by pressing this button here in the driver's side instrument panel. The other way is going at it old school style with your key, sticking it in the key slot, and then turning it to the right. And there you go, there's your open trunk. One really nice thing about this trunk is it's actually on hydraulic struts. It opens at a greater than 90-degree angle. All of the hinges are actually on the outside of the trunk itself, so there's actually no impeding parts that go inside the trunk. You'll also see that it's fully lined and fully carpeted. It's also illuminated. And you've also got your emergency, if you, well anyway, your emergency release in case something happens and you get stuffed in your trunk. You can escape, except for not this one, because well anyway. So here is the trunk. As you can see, a very nice loading height, but it does have kind of a narrow or short cut over, so kind of hard to get big bulky items in. But as you can see, the inside of the trunk itself is very nice and spacious. Like I said before, it's fully lined and fully carpeted. It also has illumination back here. And then underneath the floor mat here, you will find compact spare tool or spare tire and your jack and tools. To close the trunk, it's very easy. Just close it. And there you have it, the full in-depth review of the 2001 Ford Focus. We hope you found the review informative, and if you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and our Instagram channel at BrensoJ1. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.